Leafs. And the Leafs did a very good job of protecting him. In Vegas, like, you're the big fit. He may be the highest paid player on the well, he will be. $12 million is the highest paid player on the team immediately.
Yes.
So if you're, again, I'm not talking the fan in Vegas. I'm talking the organization saying there's no, you don't.
Foley.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk to that guy. Mark Stone's won already. You better do it. You got to do it. Mark Stone's won for me. Jack Eichel's won for me. What are you going to do for me? Because Bill Foley, you just mentioned the owner. I just gave you more money than I've ever given anyone in my life.
Yeah.
You better step in and play.
You're not going on the ice with the best goal scorer in the world at every shift anymore. Eichel's a great player.
Yes.
He's one of the best two-way players in the league, but you're going to have to make some things happen out there. That's what I'm curious to see how it's going to play out because he's been so good here for so long. But he hasn't exactly been going out on the ice with a bunch of turkeys. Like he's been going.
He's played with either Matthews or Tavares basically his whole run here for the most part.
It'll probably be either Eichel or Hurdle, which are two very good players.
Very good.
The other thing too is, keep in mind, this is something that I know you guys may scoff at a little bit. The West plays a lot different style than the East. The West is bigger and more physical, and that's the East is skill and you. People are going to say, well, the Stanley Cup winners are physical. 100%. I'm just saying the Western Conference as a whole, that style is a lot different. And that team, that Vegas team they're big, they're physical. He's going to add skill, but his game might have to adapt a little bit to the way that Vegas likes to play. Bruce Cassidy's going to say, this is how we forecheck. This is what we do. It's a different style. It's a different thought process, the way that they play hockey in Vegas compared to Toronto.
Yep.
It's not right or wrong. It's just different. So he's going to have to – there's going to be an adjustment period, too, where he's going to want to make a play, and they go, oh, well, we do this. Okay.
Well, and that's an interesting connection. Like their coach, Bruce Cassidy, he was the guy in Boston in 18 and in 19, right, when Boston beat the Leafs. But there's also, with Toronto, I think the hope always was that he would stay here his whole career, be a legacy guy, number retired, Legends Row, all that kind of stuff, and eventually win a cup here. Vegas, I don't think they don't have the same loyalty built in. Like it just, the clock starts immediately and you got to pull your weight. And Mitch will be great during the regular season. That's not up for debate. You're right. There's going to be, you got to grant him some time to find his way and all that kind of stuff. Like he's still a human and he's going down there, but he's a great player and he'll fit in. And he's a guy that's capable of, I think, playing with almost anybody. But you're right. It's a different system, different style, different expectation. Now you're highest paid guy on the team. They have an uber attraction to winning and dedication to that. And he's going somewhere where he's not familiar with it. So
dedication to it is a non-negotiable thing. Like, either do it or think about how they have those real time, how things have changed, like time lapses. Like that team, since their inception, first year all went to the finals, and then it's let's change this, and then they won a cup. And they move fast, man.
Here's another one, man. They got the biggest guy. Mitch Marner was number one on the free agent frenzy list. They got him. Vegas just never stops. You're right. They just keep moving on and moving on. And, if you're the Leafs, you get Nicholas Waugh in return, who's a third or fourth line player, good player.
Third line.
Third line. Okay, you think he'll play on the third line? You think he'll play center on the third line?
No,
or he'll play on the wing?
Third line. Third line right winger, if you ask me.
Okay.
That's where I think.
Yeah, he can take draws and everything, but he's a good player. He's a good, solid player, big body, and
that's
an effective player. But he's not
he's not.
He's
Mitch
not
Marner,
a needle.
obviously.
No, he's not a needle mover or kind of game changer. He's just a real solid player.
Well, right now on the Leafs depth chart, on the third line right wing, take your pick. They had Nick Robertson. They have a Yarncroke. He's an upgrade over either one of those. Now, Robertson's more of a smaller, tries to goal scorer type of guy or shooter type of thing. Nicholas Waugh knows how to play. He's an up and down heavy player who can score. He's got hands and stuff. So I think he's their third line right winger, just based on how the team is constructed right now.
Well,
and again, they're not even. Let's give it 2 months, 2.5 months, because I still think Tree's just getting going here.
Yeah, and the question will be, again, what they're willing to give up to go for it right now. Like if you're the Maple Leafs, if you're Brad Treliving, because again, the cupboards are not overly stocked. You know, like you've got Easton Cowan, you've got a couple of other prospects within your system, but you don't have a first-round pick for the next 2 years. How are you acquiring these other guys who could be available? That's what I'm curious about, because it's not David Kampf, Calle Jarnkrok, and a fifth-round pick for that second-line player you want. You know, like that's not going to happen because, you know, again, this hour, Steven Lorentz has signed a 3-year deal, depth player. But when you look at the roster, like they got Matthews, Nylander, Nyes, Tavares, those 4 are playing. Max Domi, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. I don't know. I mean, I think he stays, but my mini Jerry's on Max being here opening night's like 80%, 85%. It's not 100%. But you got Domi. You picked up this Matthias Michelli today from Utah. He's going to play, clearly. And then you got Scott Laughton, Steven Lorentz, Bobby McMahon, and possibly Nick Robertson if they decide to keep him. Like there's, again, if you're moving off Jarnkrok, if you're moving off David Kampf, Ryan Reeves isn't going to play.
Is he like an RFA or something?
Yeah, he's an RFA. So they got to go back to the dance with him and figure out what you're going to pay him. I mean, those are things they're not going to be concerned about tomorrow. But and then you got your 6 defensemen locked in. You got your 2 goalies locked in. Like the Leafs, even without Marner, they're still a really good team. Like they're still a good team, you know. And like you said, Noodles, there's an opportunity here for Brad Treliving to keep going. So
keep going, but also he doesn't have to do this tomorrow. He can find out what Buffalo's doing, find out what Pittsburgh's going to decide to do. Like I've said this many times, and CJ just said it in the the beginning of the 5 o'clock hour. There's a lot of teams that think that they're, you know, a player or 2 away, or they're selling to their owner, all that type of stuff. But when the dust settles, they might go, yeah, we are going to retool this year. Mm-hmm. And then you start going to look at that organization and go, geez, that's a really nice player. Is he available? That's where I think
that is big. Now, there'll be other teams that might be willing to do that too. And that's where my point of, if you don't have enough to trade for those guys,
right?
You know, if you don't have first-round picks and you don't have high-end prospects, how are you getting those guys? I don't know. All right, more on this as we move forward. Again, there's a lot going on. All 3 of the free agents returning to Florida. Brad Marchand signing this hour, a 6-year deal at $32 million per. Aaron Ekblad, 8 years at $6.1 million per. Provorov's back in Columbus. Evan Bouchard, 4 years at $10.5 million to obviously stay in Edmonton. There's a lot going on in the league here right now, so we'll continue to touch on it between now and